Have you ever found yourself staring at your phone, wondering, are we together or are we just talking? You laugh, but deep down, it's not so funny. Relationships today can feel like navigating a maze with no map. One minute you're sharing midnight conversations, the next you're left on read for days. So how do you know if what you have is real or just a situationship in disguise? Raise your hand if you've ever been confused about where you stand with someone. I see those hands. Trust me, you're not alone. Today we're cutting through the noise and uncovering the truth. By the end of this, you'll know exactly where you stand. No more guessing, no more games. Let's talk about something we've all experienced. That moment when you're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering, what exactly are we? You replay every text, every conversation, every late-night call, searching for hidden meanings. You analyze their social media likes, the tone of their voice, the way they introduce you to friends. Are we together? Are we just hanging out? Are we something in between? Here's the truth. If you're asking these questions, you already have your answer. Real relationships don't leave you guessing. They don't thrive in the shadows of uncertainty. When someone truly wants you, they don't make you decode their feelings like a secret message. They say it. They show it. They claim you, not just in private, but in the light of day, in front of the world. Think about it. When was the last time you had to question whether your best friend was really your friend? Probably never. Why? Because real connections are built on clarity. You don't sit around wondering if they like you. You don't stress over whether they'll disappear tomorrow. You know. That's the same energy a real relationship should have. But we live in a world where mixed signals have become the norm. People say, I'm not ready for labels, but still expect all the benefits of commitment. They want the comfort of having you around without the responsibility of calling you theirs. And if you dare to ask for clarity, suddenly you're the one being too intense. Let me tell you something. Love is not supposed to feel like a riddle. If you're constantly trying to figure out where you stand, that's your first red flag. A person who genuinely cares about you won't leave you in emotional limbo. They won't keep you as an option while they explore other possibilities. When you matter to someone, they make sure you know you matter. So how do you move from confusion to certainty? Start by paying attention to their actions, not just their words. Anyone can say, I really like you. But do they act like it? Do they make plans with intention? Or do they only hit you up when it's convenient? Do they introduce you to their friends and family, or do they keep you separate from their real life? And here's the biggest test. Ask yourself, do I feel secure or do I feel anxious? If you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop, that's not love, that's fear. Love should feel like coming home, not like walking on a tightrope. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but what if they're just scared? What if they've been hurt before? And sure, fear is real. Past wounds are real. But here's the thing. If they're not willing to face those fears for you, then they're not ready for you. You don't have to shrink yourself to fit into someone's unresolved baggage. You deserve someone who chooses you openly, without hesitation. So if you're sitting there right now wondering where you stand with someone, ask yourself this. Does this feel clear or does it feel confusing? Your answer will tell you everything you need to know, because at the end of the day, love isn't a guessing game, it's a knowing. And when you find it, you won't have to question it, you'll just feel it. Let me take you on a journey into the heart of what real commitment looks like. Picture this. One week they're texting you good morning every day, making plans for the weekend, telling you how much they miss you. Then, suddenly, radio silence. 3 days pass with no word. When they finally respond, it's a casual, "Hey, been busy?" with no explanation. Your stomach drops. That familiar anxiety creeps in. You wonder, did I do something wrong? Are they losing interest? Why does this keep happening? This isn't love, my friends. This is what I call emotional whiplash. That exhausting cycle of hot and cold behavior that leaves you constantly off balance. Real relationships don't operate on a roller coaster of attention and neglect. They don't make you question whether today will be an affectionate day or a distant one. True connection provides something far more valuable than passionate highs. It gives you consistency. Think about the most stable, loving relationships you've witnessed, maybe your parents, grandparents, or that couple you admire. What makes them work isn't grand romantic gestures. Oh, those are nice. It's the quiet, daily choice to show up. It's knowing that even on tough days, even when life gets messy, that person will still be there. Not perfectly, not without arguments, but consistently. Now contrast that with what so many people accept today. The guy who's attentive when he wants something but disappears when he doesn't. The woman who pours affection on you one night but acts like a stranger the next morning. We've normalized this behavior, even given it cute names like situationships or complicated. But let's call it what it really is, emotional unavailability dressed up as a relationship. The painful truth is this: inconsistency isn't just a personality quirk, it's a message. When someone can't maintain steady interests, when their presence in your life fluctuates based on their mood or convenience, what they're really saying is, you're not important enough for me to prioritize. And you, my dear, deserve so much more than that. I want you to consider something profound. The way someone treats you during their off periods matters more than how they treat you during their on periods. Anyone can be charming when they're in the mood, but real character shows in how they act when they're busy, when they're stressed, when they're not getting exactly what they want from you. That's when you see someone's true capacity for relationship. Let me share a hard-won lesson. Love isn't measured by the intensity of someone's best moments with you, but by the quality of their ordinary ones. The way they check in just because. How they remember the little things you mentioned, that they call when they say they will. These small, consistent actions build trust over time. And without trust, you don't have a relationship, you have an arrangement. Now, I know some of you are thinking, but people get busy, life happens. And you're absolutely right. The difference is in how they handle it. A committed partner will say, hey, this week is crazy at work. I might be less available, but I'll touch base when I can. An unavailable person just vanishes and expects you to be waiting whenever they reappear. One shows respect for your connection, the other shows disregard. Here's what I need you to understand. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. Every time you accept breadcrumbs after a feast of attention, every time you make excuses for their hot and cold behavior, you're telling them this treatment is okay. But you, yes, you listening right now, deserve someone who understands that love isn't a part-time job. It's a daily commitment to choose each other, even on the unglamorous days. So if you're tired of the emotional roller coaster, if you're exhausted from trying to decode mixed signals, I want you to try something radical. Start valuing predictable love over passionate inconsistency. Because here's the beautiful truth. When you stop settling for intermittent affection, you create space for the kind of love that actually lasts, the kind that shows up, the kind that stays. Let's talk about what happens after the butterflies fade. After the first few dates, the excitement of new attraction, the thrill of discovery, what remains? Because anyone can enjoy the fun parts of a relationship, the laughter, the chemistry, the way your heart races when they walk into a room. But real love, the kind that lasts, isn't built on surface-level connections. It's built on something far deeper, far more vulnerable, and far more meaningful. Emotional intimacy. Think about the last time you truly opened up to someone, not just about your favorite movies or your weekend plans, but about the things that live in the quiet corners of your heart, your fears, your dreams that feel too fragile to speak aloud, the parts of your past that still ache when you remember them. That kind of sharing isn't just conversation, it's courage. And it's the foundation of every truly connected relationship. Yet, so many of us settle for relationships where the deepest question we ever ask is, "How was your day?" We confuse physical closeness for emotional closeness. We mistake time spent together for true connection. But here's the truth. You can share a bed with someone for years and still feel lonelier than if you were by yourself. Because intimacy isn't about proximity, it's about being seen. Let me ask you something. Does your partner know what keeps you up at night? Not just the surface frustrations, but the quiet worries that haunt you when the lights are off. Do they know your dreams? Not just the polished versions you tell at parties, but the secret ones you're almost afraid to admit, even to yourself. If the answer is no, then ask yourself this. What are you really sharing besides space and time? Emotional intimacy is what happens when two people decide to stop performing and start being real. It's the moment you let your guard down and discover that they don't just love the version of you that's always put together. They love the messy, imperfect, beautifully human parts too. It's the safety of knowing you can fall apart and they won't walk away. That's the difference between being with someone and being known by someone. But here's where it gets hard. True intimacy requires vulnerability, and vulnerability is terrifying. It means risking rejection. It means showing parts of yourself that aren't polished or perfect. It means trusting someone with your heart and knowing they might not handle it carefully. No wonder so many of us avoid it. We'd rather keep things light, keep things easy, because depth comes with risk. Yet without that risk, love never grows beyond something shallow. You end up with relationships that look good on paper but feel empty in practice. You stay in connections where you're together but not truly connected, where you know everything about each other's schedules but nothing about each other's souls. And that, my friends, is how people end up feeling lonely in the very relationships that were supposed to keep them from feeling alone. So how do you build real emotional intimacy? It starts with small acts of bravery. It's sharing something real when you'd normally keep it to yourself. It's asking deeper questions and staying present for the answers. It's creating a space where both of you can be honest without fear of judgment. But, and this is crucial, intimacy requires reciprocity. You can't be the only one opening up. You can't be the only one asking the real questions. If you're constantly pouring out your heart while they stay guarded, that's not intimacy, that's emotional labor. Real connection is a dance, not a solo performance. Pay attention to how your partner responds when you share something vulnerable. Do they lean in? Do they hold space for you? Or do they change the subject? Minimize your feelings or make it about themselves? Their reaction tells you everything about whether this relationship has the capacity for true depth. And if you're sitting there thinking, but what if I open up and they leave? Let me tell you this. Anyone who walks away when you show your real self wasn't meant to stay. The right person won't love you in spite of your vulnerabilities. They'll love you because of them, because those are the parts that make you human. Those are the parts that make connection real. At the end of the day, love isn't just about who makes your heart race. It's about who makes you feel at home in your own skin. It's not just about who you can have fun with, but who you can be quiet with, who you can cry with, who you can sit in silence with and still feel understood. That's the kind of connection that lasts. That's the kind of love that sustains. So, if you're in a relationship where the conversations never go deeper than surface level, ask yourself, is this enough? Or do you crave something more? Because you deserve to be seen, you deserve to be known, and most of all, you deserve a love that doesn't just skim the surface, but dives deep. Imagine a relationship as a bridge between two people. Now, picture this. You're on one side, carefully laying every brick, hammering every nail, while the other person stands on the opposite bank, watching. Every day you stretch a little further, work a little harder, trying to close the gap between you. But no matter how much you build, the distance never shrinks because they aren't moving toward you. This is what one-sided love feels like. We've all been there, carrying the weight of a relationship while the other person casually enjoys the view. You're the one initiating plans, keeping conversations alive, remembering important dates, smoothing over conflicts. Meanwhile, they float in and out of your life like a pleasant breeze, here when it's convenient, gone when it's not. And the heartbreaking truth is this: no matter how much love you pour into someone, you can't build a relationship alone. Real love isn't a solo performance, it's a duet. It requires two people showing up day after day, choosing each other not just when it's easy, but when it's hard. When the spark isn't electric, but embers. When life gets messy and complicated. That's when you see what a relationship is truly made of. Not grand romantic gestures, but the quiet, determined choice to keep building together. Think about the healthiest relationships you know. What makes them work? It's not magic or luck. It's that both people are equally invested. They match each other's energy. When one reaches out, the other meets them halfway. When one is struggling, the other leans in. There's balance, not perfect equality at every moment, but an overall sense that both are committed to making it work. Yet so many of us accept less. We convince ourselves that if we just love harder, give more, be more understanding, the other person will eventually step up. But here's the painful reality. People don't change their level of investment because you prove your worth. They change when they decide you're worth changing for. And if they wanted to, they would. Let me tell you what mutual investment looks like in practice. It's when they remember the little things that matter to you, not because you reminded them, but because they were listening. It's when they make plans with you instead of waiting for you to make plans with them. It's when they initiate difficult conversations instead of avoiding. It's when they put in effort, not just during the honeymoon phase, but when the newness wears off and real life sets in. Most importantly, mutual investment means they're willing to grow with you, not just as a couple, but as individuals. They support your dreams, even when those dreams don't directly benefit them. They challenge you to be better while loving you as you are. They show up not perfectly, but persistently. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but relationships go through phases. Sometimes one person carries more weight, and you're absolutely right. Life happens. There will be seasons where one partner needs more support than the other. That's normal. The difference is in the overall pattern. Does the imbalance occasionally shift, or is it permanently tilted in one direction? Here's how you know if you're in a one-sided relationship. You constantly feel like you're chasing, like you're the only one trying to solve problems, like your needs are negotiable while theirs are non-negotiable, like you're walking on eggshells while they move through the relationship with casual ease. That's not partnership, that's emotional labor. So what do you do if you recognize yourself in this picture? First, stop pouring into someone who isn't filling your cup in return. Stop making excuses for their lack of effort. Have the courage to say, I need more from this relationship, and pay attention to their response. Do they get defensive? make empty promises, or do they show you through their actions that they're willing to meet you halfway? Because here's the beautiful truth. When you stop settling for less than mutual investment, you create space for the love you truly deserve. A love where both people wake up each day choosing each other. Where effort isn't extraordinary, it's expected. Where you never have to question whether you matter, because their actions leave no room for doubt. That kind of love exists, but it starts with knowing your worth, with understanding that you shouldn't have to convince someone to be present in your life, with the courage to walk away from connections that drain you rather than fulfill you. So tonight, ask yourself, is this relationship being built by two people, or am I the only one holding it together? Your answer will tell you everything you need to know, and whatever you do next, let it come from a place of self-respect rather than fear of being alone. Because the right relationship won't leave you exhausted from trying to make it work. It will energize you simply by existing. That's the power of mutual investment. That's the foundation of real love. So here's my challenge for you. Stop settling for breadcrumbs when you deserve the whole meal. If it's real, it won't leave you guessing. If it's not, don't waste your love on someone who treats it like an option. You are not an option. You are a priority. And when you start believing that, the right relationship won't just find you, it'll recognize you. Now, I want you to think, does your relationship meet these standards? If not, what's your next move? Drop a comment, share this with someone who needs to hear it, because clarity is power, and you, my friend, deserve to wield it. Thank you.